Good morning, everyone. With all the excitement downtown, I didn't know how many people would be here, so I want to welcome everybody today. It's like little ants crawling around downtown around here with flowing clothes on and hats. So it's good to have you guys here. We're in the flow also here. I'm Reverend Jay Lang, and a welcome to everybody in person as well as all of you online this morning. I want to welcome and know that right where you are, Spirit is this morning. And to bring that to your mind and your heart, Georgia Davis is going to bring us a little music this morning.
Good morning. I hope you'll sing with me and maybe even get up and dance, because this is a dancing song. Do you believe in magic? Well.
Do you believe in technology?
Do you believe in music? But this is your chance to stand up first. Do you believe in magic? In the young at heart, how the music can free us whenever it starts, and it's magic. If the music is groovy, it makes you feel happy like an old-time movie. I'll tell you about the magic, it'll free your soul. But it's like trying to tell a stranger about rock and roll. Do you believe in magic? Don't bother to choose if it's jug band music or rhythm and blues. Just go and listen. It'll start with a smile that won't wipe off your face no matter how hard you try. Your feet start tapping and you can't seem to find how you got there. So just blow your mind. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe? No dancing? You believe in magic? Come along with me. We'll dance until morning, till it's just you and me. And maybe if the music is right, we'll go dancing, baby, tomorrow night. How's in the magic, it'll free your soul. How's the music in the magic, and the music's in me, yeah. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in the magic of rock and roll? Believe in the magic that'll set you free. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic? Like I believe in magic. Do you believe in magic? Like I believe in the magic that's in you and me. Believe in the magic that'll set you free.
Thank you, Georgia. It brings us back a little bit, or even if you're a little younger, it brings us to today, to this very moment. We experience Spirit in just our very breath and our very awareness of life itself. So thank you so much for being a part of this community, this evolution. And to affirm that, we like to begin our service by saying the vision and mission. If you'll look on the screen, or if you're online, you're already looking at the screen, right? So, and read with me. We are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission statement: we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. And so it is. Before we begin our service, I like to just, I was thinking there was something else I was missing. Oh, if this happens to be your first time here today, I don't see any first timers, but I see some old timers. Some people, including some people, it's their first time in a while. So welcome back to everybody who's here today. And also, if it happens to be your first time online, or you're joining us because you didn't want to deal with all the downtown stuff, we welcome you and just appreciate all of who you are. So I do want to let you know a few announcements. First of all, I just want to, Sean, if you could pull up that shot of the courtyard. We've made some dramatic changes in the courtyard. We've been talking about it. For a while, but those of you who haven't been here, stop by this week and just take it in. There's some finishing little edges that we have to do here and there, but it's really opened up our courtyard a lot and providing that sanctuary feel in the courtyard area. These trees will continue to grow and they flower, and the intention tree got moved over. So there's some things we're setting up, not only for the upcoming Sip and Savor, but just for our continued use. We'll put up back up shade cloths in strategic areas. And I think it's just going to be a beautiful spot, and one that we not only want to enjoy as a community, but for weddings and events to rent out to people. So if you know people that are planning weddings in 2022, they will, those weddings will be back. So I think we're going to have a beautiful courtyard to be able to host those kind of events. So thank you for being a part of this community in that way. And then speaking of Sip and Savor, this is going to be a great event now, just a week and a half away now. So get your tickets. There's still pre-event discounts. And if you buy 2 tickets, there's even a greater discount per person. So go ahead and grab those tickets and come be a part of this event. We will have a virtual aspect of it. If you're not quite ready to be part of bigger groups and things, we'll have a virtual that you can tune in to the live auction. You'll miss the wine tasting, though, and the food tasting. And also for non-drinkers or people who choose not to drink during the event, we're going to have different kinds of sparkling water and different kinds of tea. So you can be a part, and food. Everybody likes food. So we're going to have vegetarian and meat options for some appetizers. So it'll be a fun event to be a part of. And we know it won't be as big of an event as we had 2 years ago, but it's kind of a beginning way for us to step back into these kind of a community fundraiser event. So please come be a part of it. It's going to be an exciting day. We're going to, we have a theme of celebrating cultural diversity here in Napa Valley. And as part of that, we're going to have a program that starts at 4:00, and we're going to be honoring former Mayor Jill Teckel, our own Board of Supervisor, Brad Wagon-Connect, for the work he's done with as a mental health advocate and for homeless people. Maria Cineros, the principal of Valley Oak High School. Charlie Toledo, the executive of the Soskell Intertribal Council. And J.T. Thompson, who started the Black History Month celebration here in Napa. So we're excited about those people and what they've done to bring a greater beloved community in this valley overall. So we're excited about that. The other thing I want to let you know about this coming Saturday is the Napa Interfaith Peace Commemoration. And it's going to be right over here at the 9/11 Peace Garden. And it's the 20th anniversary of 9/11. It's hard to believe it was that long ago. But in that, we want to make sure and come together, religions here, all faiths here in Napa Valley, including Muslims and Seventh-day Adventists and Jews and Christians, Baha'is, Quakers. We're all coming together. We're going to do prayers and talks and come together in the name of peace. And honoring those who lost their lives then, as we continue to know a greater revelation of our country at this time. So 6 p.m. You don't have to reserve anything, just come at 6 p.m. There's also, if you can't make 6 p.m., there's one at 11 a.m. that's sponsored by the city. So you're welcome to come to that as well, or both of those. I think it's important to be part of this civic honoring of 9/11 on this coming Saturday, which is September 11th. And then we're going to have a concert. Practitioner class starts on September 21st. A concert, I can never say his name right, Naranya, and Janet. on October 3rd, right after the Sunday service. They're actually going to be with us in 2 weeks, so you can get more of a taste of their music. And then the 1st of October, we're going to be having that. And then October 23rd is our annual gratitude dinner. That'll be, Karen Drucker is going to be our musician for that evening. We don't know right now. We're going to see how the health recommendations are at that time, whether we're going to be indoors or outdoors. We'll let you know, but just save the date for that. And then we have ongoing events, meditation on Wednesday night, both in English and Spanish. We have a Course in Miracles group. We have Sunday services in Spanish on the 2nd and 4th Sundays. And then we also have a Sunday Dharma recovery group that actually is going to be expanding possibly to Wednesday afternoons too. And I'll let you know about that when that comes. So we're excited about that, and we're excited about the different things that are coming forth, the expressions that are coming through this community. Through it all, we are thriving and revealing Spirit in every way. So without more talking, let's have Georgia open up this sacred time.
So this part, you don't have to sing. And I'm just going to sing, and then we'll have a little silence and then prayer. There is just one life. This life is God's life. This life is perfect. This life lives in me now. There is just one light. This light is God's light. This light is perfect. This light shines in me now, right now, right now. Infinite Spirit, ever flowing, never within me, ever growing. Infinite wisdom, ever knows the way, the way. There is just one love. This love is God's love. This love is perfect. This love lives in me now, right now, right now. This one life, living as only it can through each one of us, through each 8+ billion of all of us, having its way in and through as our lives. This divine life living completely and fully, loving, giving, doing, being as each one of us perfectly. And knowing that this divine life is living as us perfectly, I just claim for each one of us that we remember this truth of ourselves, that we are the divine come to be and love, live, and be that light as only we can. So there is no wrong way to do it. We are always on the right path, always doing the right thing, moving deeper and further into that flow of the divine movement. Knowing that this is already the truth, I just rejoice. Rejoice that there can be ease and love and joy infinitely. And that there is a law that comes to meet this, comes to meet and give and bring all that is necessary for its fruition. And knowing that this is already happening right now, everywhere, everyone, everything without exception. I just let this word go, knowing that it is already done, and so. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Georgia. I would like to invite Martha Martinez up here. Martha is our newest practitioner, and we didn't get the chance the other day when we installed her to really get to know her, and the practitioners and I have begun to get to know her, and I just want to share her story, or let her share her story with the community, because it's beautiful. This month we are, our theme is reaching higher, and the idea of your pathway. So I just want you to tell a little bit about why did you decide to become a practitioner, and how long you've been taking classes and that kind of thing. So go ahead, Martha.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning, first of all, and thank you. That really centered me. And first, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. And I grew up in Mexico with my 6 brothers and also a sister. And the same house, my grandmother and my grandfather was there. So I grew up with a loving and caring family. And since we was growing up together, I mean, you know how the family is. And I used to care for my younger brothers, which it was 3 of them. And I used to care for them. I don't used to remember myself. First, they come always in my life, them. And then I feed them first, and then I feed myself. And that's how I grew up. That's how I learned how to do things. So in my adult age, I did the same thing ever and ever, again and again. And I was very pleased with what I was doing. And I didn't know any better, so I didn't realize that I was doing everything for everybody but me. But when I start learning about a little bit more in this philosophy, that I need to see inside of me, and I need to see me so I can give others what I learned. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for me to leave my goodness that I know, and I didn't know any better. But little by little, I start like swimming out, go back into that water and swimming back up. And, it was like that. But it was very, very nice. And thank you for asking, because that is probably what it got me into here, is because I feel much better. I start feeling and knowing me a little bit more and more. And in the beginning, everybody was against me because I wasn't doing what I supposed to do, what I usually do. And it was very hard even for me to even say to my kids, "You're very smart, you can do it." Because I was always doing everything for everybody. And when I start doing that, leaving things to them, I feel like a little relief. I didn't notice at the beginning, but more and more I start looking into what am I doing to me? And I was neglect me for a long time and leaving me behind. And when I realized this is not too long ago, when I started the 2 years, and probably in the second year, in the middle of second year, is when I start really seeing what I was learning on the first year, and I start practicing, and I start realizing that I can do better if I see me, and then I can help others. So that's what got me into it. The way I feel much better. Even letting go And I know that everybody have their own God, and I know that God is only one.
Mhm.
And that God that is in me is in my kids, and He can take care of them. And I'm not their God, you know. So that God is, each of us is all one. So when I realized that, um, even hurt my heart when I start thinking, wow, I'm letting everything go. But it wasn't that I was selfish. No, it wasn't that way. I think selfishness is when I rely into somebody else, or somebody else rely on me. And when I start teaching myself and I can do good, so I can keep good. Because in all that chaos it was in my mind, I was very angry in times. And that anger, that's what I was giving, and without realizing, and that anger and that fear and everything that it come in the way I was growing up, thinking that was I was living so bad, thinking that I was living real good. Then I came out alive, and I start thinking, taking care of myself so I can take care of others. And that's what got me here. So
Beautiful.
I'm going to keep doing this some in times again. That really put me into, or drag me into that, but it's okay. Today I feel like I have to enjoy that when I'm down, and hug it and embrace it, and get a box of Kleenex by me if I have to, and cry or whatever I have to do. But I have to let it go. I know a better way of living, and I know that all that rocks are going to be in my way, but it's okay. I can either jump or kick it or whatever I have to do, but I need to keep practicing this. So I thank you very much, and
Thank you.
I love you guys.
I love you too. I think you'll hear, Imelda's ministry here with the services and the meditations, it serves everybody, but especially Spanish speakers, and especially, I will say, Latinas is my experience, because Latino, the women of the Latin culture, tend to take a backseat role, tend to be less powerful, and it gives them an opportunity to be free in spirit. And the men that are engaged in this ministry too also hear this as well, a way for men and women to work together in partnership. So it's wonderful. So thank you, Martha, for being a part of all this. So thank you. All right.
And welcome. And if you've never taken practitioner classes, they're very wonderful spiritual learning, even if you don't want to be a practitioner. Helps in so many ways to live a spiritual life. So a couple of the songs that I bring to you are songs that haven't been produced, because like that last one, Linda Webb Kakaba, she never recorded that. And this next one, so sorry if I don't have music with it, you get my a cappella voice. The next one, Melissa Philippe wrote, and she could never produce it because Martin Luther King's family would not license his words. So I love this song. In times of difficulty, it really helps me to have it within me. So I hope that you'll take it into and hold it with you. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Only love Only love, only love can do that. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Only love, only love, only love can do that. Thank you.
Boy, that particular song sounds better without instruments in the back. That was beautiful, just to kind of sink into that, only love. So that was beautiful. So back for another Sunday. I just wanted to kind of check in. Last week I was talking about a spiritual toolbox. And I know many of you have certain things in your toolbox, but I began to thinking about that both before my talk and after the talk, how I can always sharpen my tools and put new toolboxes. Some tools don't work anymore, or there's more modern tools, or with longer battery power that sustain me longer. So I'm just kind of curious about, have any of you and online people can participate in this, to put something in the chat box about spiritual tools that you've used, that you have brought back out that you haven't used in a while, new ones you've added, or ones you've continued to use. So what kind of, just speak out those words of possibly tools that you've been using over the past couple of weeks or years. Laughter. Yeah. Meditation. Mindfulness. Mantras. Study. Especially you in ministerial school. Is there anything online that's being posted? Meditation. Breathing. Especially right now. Yeah. Friendship. Yeah. Yeah. Reaching out to others. Yeah. Yeah, so all these things, I would just want to encourage you to not think of my talks as, oh, last week it was this and this week is that, and then forget about, I want you to keep the spiritual toolbox for me is one that keeps giving to me. I keep looking at the things about the journaling. I think in my talk last week, I've been doing some automatic writing in the morning, just not with a purpose. Usually I'm writing for a talk or a class or something, and this is just writing for writing's sake. And that is really opening up some things in my soul. So I'm really enjoying that. And so, look for new things, look online for ideas, and keep active spiritually. Keep your spiritual fitness up in that way. And this week it fits into that. Our theme is reaching higher. And for me also this past week, I've been in Rhode Island. And if we could get, hang on just a minute. This is working just fine here.
Could it possibly gotten unplugged?
Let me just check here. Hang on just a minute. Just had to be woken up a little bit. Okay, great. So back online here. So what I want to show you is the pictures of my grandchildren. I was out in Rhode Island today, and this was a spiritual tool for me that was opening up. There should be a picture there of my grandkids. There they are. So both Sadie on the left-hand side is 12. Vivian is 10. My son and Vivian went to the beach. Sadie was off doing something else because that's what 12-year-olds do, But it was great to visit them, and I replenished the soul. I invited them to come out to, this is in Rhode Island, beautiful beaches they have there. But I did mention to them to come out next summer come to California so I could see a real ocean. And they sort of looked at me funny. So, but I mean, a real ocean is the one where the sunset happens over the water, right? Sunset was like over behind us somewhere. So, but it was beautiful. It was great to see them. So this theme this month of reaching higher, it's really important. It's not about what we do. It's not about success or something like that. It's about how we are being in everything we do. And sometimes people who are quite successful in their field are not content in life, not happy because they don't have that inner soul, that inner beingness. They're so focused on outward accomplishments. So really, when we're talking about reaching higher, we're not talking about an achievement of sorts, but a transcendence actually through and above the challenges of our lives. Not to ignore them by any means, but finding a higher perspective as we move through challenges in our lives, to respond with consciousness, intention, mindfulness, compassion, rather than being compelled by our reactions and our unconsciousness. So, Phil, could you check the AC a little bit? I think it feels a little warm in here to me. I don't know if it's not on, or just drop it a little bit, perhaps. And I love this whole idea of reaching higher is, I think of the Transcendentalists, which the Transcendental movement started in Europe, but it spread to the United States. And we always think of Ralph Waldo Emerson or Henry David Thoreau. And I like what Ralph Waldo Emerson said in one of his quotes. He said, it is easy in the world to live after the world's opinions. I know that well, right? It is easy in solitude to live after our own when we're quiet. But the great man, the great person, is he or they who in the midst of the crowd keeps with perfect sweetness the independence of solitude. Within the crowd has the perfect sweetness, the independence of solitude. So to be present with ourselves and respond to the world from compassion and love, intention, mindfulness, consciousness, and love. What would love look like here? And then Henry David Thoreau had another great quote. He said, if we will be quiet and ready enough, we will find compensation in every disappointment. We will find compensation in every disappointment. So neither Thoreau or Emerson were suggesting that we ignore reality. Instead, we engage, but we are engaging with that quietness, that compensation that we find, the gifts we find in everything we do, and the love we have. So this, to me, is about reaching higher. When Martha was talking today, I was thinking of Ralph Waldo Emerson and his term about self-reliance, which he talked about, which he used that term, and a lot of people think he was talking about being selfish or relying just on your own individual self. But he was not talking about your small self. He was talking about the greater universe, relying on that instead of other people's opinions. He said that's when we get a little bit off, when we, either because of our reactions to other people's opinions or because we start believing them, we empower other people, when really we need to empower the spirit in us. And that's what's great about this week's the talk. And we're going to be talking about a wonderful movie called Soul. This is a really wonderful, and if you haven't had the chance to look at it, it's really, really amazing. So the idea, and this week in particular, we're talking about improvising in our divine expression. So the main character in this, Joe Gardner, is a jazz player. And I'd like just to introduce him a little bit with this video clip that I can show you.
I remember one time my dad took me to this jazz club, and that's the last place I wanted to be. But then I see this guy, and he's playing these chords with force on it. And then with a minor, I went, whoa, whoa, whoa. Then he has the inner voices. remember one time my dad took me to this jazz club, and that's the last place I wanted to be. But then I see this guy, and he's playing these chords with force on it. And then with a minor, I was, whoa, whoa, whoa. Then he has the inner voices, and it's like he's singing. And I swear the next thing I know, it's like he floats off the stage. That guy was lost in the music. He was in it, and he took the rest of us with him. That's when I knew I was born to play. One, two, three, four, stay on the beat. 2, 3, 4. That's C sharp horns. 2, 3, I see you, Caleb. Cut it.
So there's a little bit of disconnect in his life, a little bit of disharmony when he wants to just play his piano and improvise. And that's our topic this week, is improvising in our divine expression. That and improvisation, if you don't know that, either in improv comedy or improvisation in jazz, is this ability for a solo to play, not playing off the charts, but playing on their own, a solo that is just made up, composing in the spot. When I was in college, at 18, 19 years old, I went to this college that was renowned for jazz music. And so I had the opportunity to hear a lot of amazing jazz musicians. Number of recording artists went to this school. And so there were just amazing jazz concerts. And a friend of mine was a jazz, and he improvised. I heard him one day doing an improvisation, a solo. And I asked him, like, how do you do that? You know, you're not following charts. You're just making it up as you go. And he goes, oh, yeah, I'm making it up. But the band behind me is setting the rhythm and the key for me to play. And I thought, what a wonderful concept, as I was thinking about it this week, is this improvisation idea, is that spirit, as well as our friends and community, is the ground upon which we stand. It's the solidness. It's what we know is to be true. And from this, we can go through things in our lives that we don't have a roadmap for, that we've never been there before, but we don't need to know. We can improvise, or a character in the movie calls it jazzing, that we're jazzing, you know, we're just kind of making it up, but we're not making it. It's not totally random, because we have this ground underneath us that allows us to rise up from that place, allows us to improvise and be present with what is right now. And we always allow and invite the Spirit to be with us, to be this alignment that we do, that we invite this in this way. Centers for Spiritual Living, as a collective of all the centers, we have a vision that humanity will awaken to its spiritual magnificence and discover the creative power of thought, a world where each and every person discovers their personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. And in order to do this, we need to be allowed to be free, and we can be free and know that we can't take any wrong steps as long as we are standing on sacred ground, that we invite this. We open up to this. So as I think about this movie and thinking about improvisation or improv comedy, we'll talk more about that later. I know the most important thing to do first is to invite the backup. Invite Spirit to the backup band we have. And if you can show that slide, the idea that Joe Gardner found this perfect band of his that he was playing with. But we also know that on the left side there, that we find this spiritual connection, this imagination within our spiritual practice, as well as different things we do, community we have, work we do with others, the family playing together, and just being together, that we can connect and improvise and allow this deeper connection by opening up to it. What I know is we can be free because our God is our ground, and the community that we are in now, and different communities we have, are the ground upon which we stand. This community that you are in right now, whether online or in person, has been here for over 50 years. And it continues to be an important part of Napa Valley, in a voice of oneness, a voice of love, a voice of compassion, a voice of mindfulness, and a place where people can come and experience this, as well as take classes and learn how to apply these spiritual principles in their lives. We also, in our lives, invite what I would call our God Squad, people that are close friends of ours that support us and listen to us, even when we have crazy ideas or something, that allow us to be present with what this is. And we're also, in January, I'm going to launch something new for small groups here at the center. Optional activity to do. But what I found is some of these classes, people bond so much, and then they want to continue meeting with that group. So we'll form some groups here in Napa and maybe American Canyon or maybe up Valley, and they will meet together on a regular basis, perhaps twice a month, perhaps once a month. That'll be decided by the group. But you'll initially have an intense time to be together several weeks in a row, and you'll do some study together, and then you'll decide how often to meet. But I think it's important for just connection that we have a God Squad, somebody that is at our back. Not only do we have God as our backup band, but we have spirit, but we have these spiritual communities, and sometimes when they're a little smaller, and then we have the bigger community, and then we have the even bigger community. And the other thing I think is important to talk about in this improvisational is the yes and. Now, this is an interesting idea about the yes and, because this comes from improv comedy. And that in those sketches, they do an activity that's called yes and, where somebody shows up. You might have a group of people on stage, and they say, one person might say, I'm a goldfish. Now, everybody knows they're not a goldfish. But on stage, the way the improv works is another person comes in and goes, yes, they're a goldfish. And I'm an aquarium keeper. And the other person goes, yes, and I'm hungry and you don't know that, but I can't tell you. And the other person goes, yes, and I think there's something wrong with your water, so I drain your water. And then the person acts out, like they're not in water or something. So it creates some comedy out of it, but it's always a yes and. And I think this is so valuable in our lives, to be a yes and person, not to disagree with things, not to, it doesn't mean that we don't agree with them, but we don't have to be oppositional to them. Let me give you an example. So perhaps somebody said, gosh, so I'm going to have a dinner party or something like that. And I'm talking to this person, and they say, I say, well, I'm thinking about these different kinds of dessert. And I go through talking about the way I'm going to make it. And the person goes, oh, don't go to that much trouble. That sounds a lot of work. Don't do that. So they're saying no to me. And so I feel kind of resistant, and I listen to what they say. So I accept what they're saying. I go, yes, it is a lot of work. Instead of going, no, it's okay. I'll do it. It doesn't matter. Yes, it's a lot of work. And I love doing this for other people. I love to serve other people. So it's accepting, not necessarily agreeing, but accepting what they're saying. And so in our lives, there's so many things that we hear or observe. And the first thing we need to do is just accept what it is, accept what the person is saying to us, accept ideas within ourselves, accept conditions of what we are. And then we say yes, and. Often we will internally or say to another person things like, no, that will never forget, that will never work. Or, oh, I tried that, even though it was like 20 years ago and it didn't. Or yes, that's a wonderful idea, but I don't have time right now. So you can also do not only a no, but a yes, but. Yes, but, which is the same thing as a no. Which is saying no to a person or no to ourselves. And anytime we are resistant, anytime we are oppositional to a person or within ourselves, that we are denying the flow. So we want to be in a yes and situation. So we experience a condition, either a health condition, a financial condition, a relationship condition that is undesirable. And say, I don't want to deal with that. It's not true. You go, yes. This is a condition. I accept it, and I am choosing health. I'm choosing abundance. I'm choosing to do things in this condition that do things for my health. This condition may never go away, or I want to keep this. I want to be in this relationship, but I don't want it to be in this way. So yes to the relationship, and I'm going to ask for this. I'm going to open up to this. I'm going to create this. So it's a yes and instead of resisting something. And this is how it shows up parallel to what happens in improv comedy. Because if they were to say no, then the scene would kind of flatten and not go anywhere. So it is with our lives that we can find a resistance, that we want to open up to the yes and when we do the yes and, there's a lightness, there's a openness, there's a revelation of giving room for the and, even when we don't know what the and is. We could say yes and I am open to something greater, something new, a new way of doing this, even though I don't know, that I can be improvising or jazzing, figuring it out. That I'm opening up. And the final thing is, it's simply to stand up, be in your power, and improvise, to be jazzing, to open up to a greater life. And this on the slide here, Marla Lee, she's a improvisational drummer, and she teaches classes and how to drum and how to be that person that is improvising. And I love what she talks about. First of all, she quoted Yehudi Menuhin, which was a violinist, a famous violinist, that improvisation is the expression of the accumulated yearnings, dreams, and wisdom of the soul. So this is this expression that we seek to have, these yearnings, these dreams, this wisdom of the soul. So it's a way to express it in this way. She talks about just breathing and tuning in, harmonizing, and allowing the music to flow. And she said, you can't do it wrong. And I think this is true of life. You can't do it wrong. There are things that might not work out, that might not be in the flow, or you recognize you're not in alignment with something, but you allow it to come forth. That we stand in the fire of our challenges that we might have, but we're never a victim. We always can say yes to this and choose something else. And when we're in an area that we don't know, that we've not been before, we don't want to play innocent or as if we don't know. I know we don't know, but Spirit in us knows. I love the story of Amy Purdy. I've talked about her before. She's a slide before that, actually. Okay, that one. That Amy Purdy is, she was 18 years old, loved snowboarding, had a passion for it, and decided to, after high school, to go to massage school and so that she could be a massage therapist and just snowboard, to go to these different resorts and snowboard. And she was such a massage therapist. She did all that. And when she went to school, there were some shifts in her life, because she went to the school in Salt Lake City that was this, and it's a famous massage school there in Salt Lake. And their emphasis is not only on the technique of massage, but the art of healing and the spiritual aspects of working with someone of hands-on therapy like that. And so she began to shift some things in her life that she hadn't known before. And she began to get a sense that she was going to do some different kinds of things, some amazing things in her life. It wasn't necessarily about being famous or anything, but that something was going to happen in her life that was going to set her apart. And she almost started feeling anxious about it, not afraid, but anxious, because she didn't know what was going to happen. So she began doing this massage therapy and snowboarding like she loved to do. And it was one afternoon she had when she was finished with her day, and she got in her car and started leaving, and her spa manager called her back to have another client who they made a mistake and wasn't scheduled a therapist. And she was kind of resistant, but she came back and said it was an older gentleman, and she immediately began to work on him. She began to feel this energy and connection with him. And he began to talk about this story about how he fell into a well when he was younger and almost died. In fact, he did die, and he flatlined and had this mystical experience, and he called it crossing over. And she was just so amazed by that. And he was saying, what I sense about you is you will have an experience like this. And what you need to know is don't be afraid when it happens. And she, because she was feeling this long before him, that something different that was going to set her apart was going to happen, she began to cry even while she was working on him, and profoundly affected her through the day. Next week, she began to journal about it and think about it. And then a week after that, she got a kind of meningitis, where it left her in the hospital, and an infection. They didn't know what it was at first. And she ended up, lost her hearing in one ear, and her legs below the knee were amputated, or actually right above the knee. And so this whole idea of snowboarding changed. And yet during that time, she remembered this voice, this person who said, don't be afraid. So she knew there was something greater. And as she made it through this time, she almost died and did have this crossing over experience, this mystical experience, and it began to profoundly change who she was. When she was fitted with prostheses that didn't really work very well, that were kind of clumsy, and she worked with manufacturers who designed legs, and she was able to snowboard, and she actually became the most decorated snowboarder in all of the Olympics. It was Paralympics, and still the most decorated. No qualification. If you've seen those Paralympics, they're amazing. And so she went on to write a book, to be on Oprah, to just to have this shining life. But this whole time, this idea that she was, through this experience, it's not that it happened for a reason, but there was good that happened in it that allowed her to express herself more fully. And if she hadn't been willing to say yes, and she would have been depressed and not been able to succeed or achieve in the way she did. So this yes, and the man that she never even saw, this man again, that was her massage client, and he was willing to express about himself and be the yes, and be willing to improvise, have a conversation with someone, be jazzing about something. And she, in her not being afraid, opened up to her life in a way that she raised higher. She was blessed in this way. And we're blessed because she was willing to say yes, and hear the story of her life. So I want to open up with an affirmation we have here that just that, that's not the same one. Well, I'll just repeat it. Actually, there was another one I sent you this morning, but that's fine. Why don't you take that one down and we will just say it in here. So the whole affirmation is, I am free to be because my God and my community are the ground on which I stand. So let's start with the first part of it. I am free to be because my God and my community are the ground on which I stand. Here it is. I am free to be because my God and my community are the ground on which I stand. One more time. I am free to be because my God and my community are the ground on which I stand. Let us go to prayer. What I know is that God, Spirit, Yahweh, is this ground upon which we stand, that is nowhere and everywhere at the same time. And we can feel below our feet the support that is. And around us, we feel friends and family and community that are our backup band as well. And there is a conspiracy for good in your life. So in this moment, we just allow Spirit to be that which is within us and allow it to reveal the wisdom and the truth and the way that allows us to rise higher, allows us the freedom to improvise and to be free. And for this, we're grateful today and always. And so it is. Why don't we just go to the gratitude song? How about that? Okay. Yep. So this is a time in our service when we invite you to participate in our circulation that we know as you give, so you open up to your life to receive as well, to receive Spirit's blessings, and we give from that. So during this time, I invite you to contemplate what Spirit is as being the ground beneath your feet, as well as give. There are links for you to give online, or if you've given already, to mail in yours or given during the week. We appreciate that, and you participate in the law of abundance. Or if you want to so wish today to come up and put an offering, a sharing of abundance in the basket. Either way, we know it is all good and all is well as we do a little gratitude.
And if you want to stand for this one, it has movements. You probably know it. We're going to sing it with Karen. Phil's almost there. You know, gratitude behind me, gratitude before me. I think I just did that backwards, but there it is.
He's got to get to it there. We did an audible.
It's a good one to feel though when you move with it, if you want to stand. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you.
Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is. And we bless our children today, knowing that we love them, we care about you, and we're here for you. Usually the first Sunday in our the month we do birthdays and anniversaries. I'm gonna bring it up today, but I'm also gonna do it next week because with Bottle Rock and Labor Day, we have a few less people, and I want to make sure we're honored. But does anybody have a birthday in September? Birthday in September here, birthday in September back there, Dale and Diana. How about anniversary? Anybody have an anniversary? Anniversary, how many years, Bill? I thought you were going 3, maybe 2, 3, maybe 2, 32 for Phil and Shauna. So we just, and anybody who is new online today, we just raise our hands and we do the blessing. We say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community. And so it is. And finally, our community affirmation. Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I am led by Spirit. I am guided by wisdom. I am protected by love. I am here to be a blessing. I am so grateful. And so it is. Yeah, song. Come on. Got to do an ending song.
Okay, we'll do an ending song. Please stand so that you can leave when we're done with this song. But we're going to do Put a Little Love in Your Heart by Jackie DeShannon. You know that one? Come on.
Absolutely, we need that.
I'll count you in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Think of your fellow man. Lend him a helping hand. Put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late. Oh, please don't hesitate. Put a little love in your heart. And the world will be a better place. And the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Another day goes by and still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. If you want the world to know we won't let hatred grow, put a little love in your heart. And the world will be a better place. And the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Wait and see. Take a good look around, and if If you're feeling down, put a little love in your heart. I hope when you decide kindness will be your guide, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see, wait and see. Put a little love in your heart each and every day. Put a little love in your heart, there's no other way. Put a little love in your heart, come on now. Put a little love in your heart, you got to put a little love in your heart, oh yeah. Put a little love in your heart, I hear it now. Put a little love in your heart, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. So as we go forward, we put a little love in our heart, right? And so it is.
And so it is.
Have a great weekend.